What's cracking, fellas? Kenny coming back at you with another goddamn video. So, you know what? Today's video is going to be a little lighthearted, and I apologize first and foremost. I've been out of country for the last 7 days or so, over in Iceland for the holidays. So I'm back now, and I'm going to be producing videos again on a regular basis. So I figured for today's video, man, I'm going to be just doing a little roster update. I'm going to be looking at things from a different perspective, man. What if they put Kenny in charge of Scopely, right? I was one of the great minds of designing this wonderful game. And I had carte blanche over like everything, right? What would I do? Because there's a lot of people on Reddit. There's a lot of people out there in the community that talk a lot of shit. Let's just call a spade, man. But offer not a whole lot in what could be actually be done in the game to improve it. We all know what's wrong with the game. There's a plethora of things that you can point to and stuff like that, stuff that can be improved upon. But we're not going to be talking too much about that today. We're only talking about what would make the game more enjoyable. And man, I got to tell you, I'm a simplist. I like simple pleasures, man. Strip all the bells and whistles out of things and stuff like that. Just give me, the entertainment value behind something.
I like turtles.
That's what I enjoy personally. And some people are different, man. But you know what? By all accounts, what I've been hearing and stuff like that is that the game has been getting a little bit more and more convoluted as time goes on, a little bit more complicated, and a lot of times that's not for the better. A lot of us approach this game, we get into the game in the first place because we like the nostalgia of some of the eras of pro wrestling that we might have grown up on. Attitude Era, the 80s, old school style, and further beyond. It's fun getting these characters, collecting them, playing with them. It just brings back certain memories and nostalgia. However, the game has become a little bit of a grind. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of pro wrestlers that they just they haven't added in yet, or they just haven't added in. And I understand there's a lot of that has to do with licensing and jumping through hoops, and you got to code all the animations and movements and stuff, and it's pretty tedious work, I'm sure. But there's a list of guys that I haven't seen in the game. Such as Hillbilly Jim, King Kong Bundy, Tito Santana, Ivan Putski, the Polish Hammer, fellas. Fabulous Moolah, the Conquistadors, Bad News Brown, Hakeem, the African Dream. Man, they did my boy Hakeem, the African Dream, dirty. So that's just to name a few guys. There's a ton I'm sure they can add into the game. There's rumblings of Hogan this month, which would be nice. However, they have these different classes, and let me show you guys this real quick. And you guys are well familiar with this at this point. But you go into Entourage, you look in your Entourage, and you see your coaches, and you see your trainers. What would be nice? Let me go back in there real quick. It'd be nice if I showed you while I'm doing this. It would be nice. We've got our trainers. We've got our coaches. Where's the managers, man? Where's Mr. Fuji? Where's Bobby Heenan? Where's Miss Elizabeth? Where is Sherry Martel? If you want to have some cool extra little things to put in here, throw in managers with some effects on them. So I thought that was kind of interesting. You could easily implement that into the game, and it would add something to it. You'd have some more nostalgia, some more entertainment value that you could throw in there as well. And they could have their own different animations and stuff. And what I'd like to see is for them to dig up old storylines and actually use them in the game. Actual storylines from past WWE, angles and stuff like that. I'd like to have them throw in some heart, some comedy. And now, when I say that, guys, just hear me out on this because, for a while now, a lot of the animations are just very like plain. The movesets are very like kind of just straightforward. There's no like real comedic value, I want to say, to them. Like, all right, just picture this, fellas. Okay, so they put Mae Young in the game. Okay, and I'll show you the video to this to accompany this. But they put Mae Young in the game, right? And one of her moves is she gives birth to a hand. If you guys grew up in like the Attitude Era, you'd remember this angle where Mae Young gives birth to a hand. She's with Mark Henry at the time. She gives birth to a hand. It's a weird fucking angle, but they did it, man. They did it.
It rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again. Yes, you will, precious. You will get the hose.
So one of her moves would be giving birth to a hand and then like clocking somebody over the head with it or something like that. Because like literally, like if you drop that on this unsuspecting community, could you imagine like seeing that for the first time and being like, oh shit, yes, I remember that. I remember that when that happened. And every time that animation will pop up for that move, you're gonna like recall that type of stuff, man. Some of the movesets that they do have in the game are pretty cool. And I wanted to touch base on one of them in particular, which is Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac's not the best character, right? He's not the best character to use at all. In fact, he's been sitting at 2-star gold for me for the longest time. However, his movesets are pretty cool because they open up perspective a little bit. They shoot it from a completely different angle, so it opens up this world of WWE Champions. It broadens the whole thing a little bit. So it opens the game up to different possibilities. I'd like to see these different animations take place. Maybe have one where it goes like a move that goes outside of the ring or something like that. Have a hardcore character come into the game and then like put somebody through a table or something like that. That's outside of the ring. Raven DDTs somebody off of the top rope through to the outside through a table or something. Like, that would be sick. Excuse me, fellas. And then, for the last parts of this, I made another video before, and I suggested that there'd be like a live section. You could even name it like 205 Live or something like that, and have it like its own little section and part in the game, where people can go there and they can challenge other players live to matches, right? And this isn't like your AI where it's really highly predictable in showdown modes. This is live, person to person. And you can challenge them. You could have the ability to challenge them for belts, which would be cool. I took that model from Marvel Contest of Champions, which you can actually do that. You can. Their global chat is completely different from the global chat that we've got on Champions. Champions global chat, let's face it, fellas, it's kind of a joke. It's a place to troll, and that's about it. Marvel Contest of Champions, you can go on global chat. They do have one, and then you can actually add friends and chat with them in a separate window, or challenge them to a match. And it's all pretty cool, man. And like stats will get saved and stuff like that. You can look up and see who's online from your faction and then challenge them. for a belt. You can, go against different factions. Inter-faction feuds would be kind of cool, where you can go up against, your own, or like a tournament inside your faction. I believe I said before, like a sort of round robin tournament, and the winner would get a certain prize at the end. That would be kind of cool. This idea has been kicked around by the community for a while now. It would be the idea of like a marketplace, where there'd be like an exchange of goods within a faction, right? So it would be like a faction marketplace where, say, you needed like 100 red TP, like stat, like I need this right now, and like one of your boys in your faction's like, well, dude, I've got like 6,000 red TP. Like I could give you that, but I need like 2-star silver showboat tokens, and so you're like, I got a ton of them. I'll trade you them for that, and then you could work it out via your faction. Just a couple ideas I'm throwing out there, guys. It doesn't necessarily mean they're great ideas. I just think, like, look, man, entertainment value needs to be a part of this game. It really does. It's like a daily grind for a lot of people, and it's a little daunting for new people coming in to this game, especially seeing that, like, people, who are in these super factions have like 800k and above accounts. And it's a grind to get there. It really is. It's a grind to get there. So the entertainment value gets lost to a lot of us who have been playing for a while. And for people coming in, there's, the entertainment value is just the collecting of these characters, and that's it. The comedy value needs to be in there. Heart needs to be in there. Otherwise, it's just this repetitive grind, full-time job type of thing. And I'm seeing more and more like people going into retirement who have been playing for years, and it's a shame because if there was something to some real value in keeping them around, then you think that like the entertainment value would be included into the game. Now, it doesn't mean that like there's no entertainment value in the game. Otherwise, I wouldn't be playing this shit. But I think there could be more, and I think there's more that could be done. And honestly, like, it's not only good for the players, it's good for the coders, it's good for everybody, man. Taking that perspective of just having fun with it, right? Just having a good time. It makes the people at Scopely feel less like they're working at a job. It makes us feel like we're less like we're working at a job, and all around everybody's happy. So anyway, there's that. I'm gonna let you guys check out my roster here because I promised. I had it set to era, so I'm gonna switch back to rarity real quick. It's up to 857k. I know we've jumped quite a bit since I first started making videos. I think I was only down to like 600 and something when I first started making these. So this is quite a big jump. I'm hoping to get up to 1 million, in the next couple months, which would be kind of cool. Have 6 4-star golds. Just took up Doink not too long ago. Now, if you guys are out there and you're questioning whether or not to take Doink up, he's got the extra gems at 4-star gold, which is pretty nice. All of his moves have the extra choose gem move. So he's interesting. To be honest with you, man, I like using Finn Balor. He's got a lot of bleed damage. He doesn't have... I don't have Striker Seth Rollins on him just yet, but he's got a ton of bleed damage for 5 turns. He's got this destroy a 7x1 area, and he's got destroy 5 random green gems. So I usually put Bray on him just to get to this move first, and then I'll hit this move, and it'll bleed into these 2 moves. And that's how I usually finish people off. For this next Talent Up event, I'm going to take Ricochet up to 4-star gold. I think he deserves to be there. And then I definitely want to work on Fandango at some point. My next guy to work on is most likely going to be Kofi. I've got just about every one of his moves maxed out at this point. I just got to coin him up. I do want to work on Jimmy. Other than that, man, let me take you into my era and just go class by class here, or era by era. So my attitude era is pretty strong. I mean, I've got a bunch of 4 stars in here. No 4-star golds, but I feel like Zombie Austin can kind of hit above his weight class. So that is a pretty good. And I've got guys to work on like Ken Shamrock and, you know, there's plenty of guys to work on. Nash is in there as well. He'd be an interesting choice. Old school, I do have Andre at 4-star gold. I got the other Andre. I've got Volkov, Piper, and some other guys that I can work on. Here's Sheik in here at 4-star. Warrior, Macho Man, Hacksaw. Like Modern Era is probably my strongest era. If there's a Modern Era feud, man, I'm owning this thing. Because we've got some really good choices here, fellas. And then, you know, taking Kofi up on top of that, and Rico, possibly Matt, because I've got a shit ton of shards for him. And then we're going to move down to New Gen, which is also, you know, a fairly strong class. I do only have 3 4-star, it looks like, but I do have 2 4-star golds, and both of those guys are beasts. PG era is probably my weakest class, one of my weakest class. I do have Zombie Page, but, you know, for females. My males, I only have one. I have 1 4-star bronze, and he's not maxed. That's Brock Lesnar. All the other guys I really wouldn't want to work on too much. I know some people like Big Show. I do not. Some people like Daniel Bryan. I do not as well. Reality, I do have Tough. Seth Rollins, which is nice. And Ruthless Aggression, I have Kurt Angle, Edge, Orton, and Brock Lesnar. So anyway, guys, there's my roster. Hope you enjoyed my video. I'll try to produce more now that I'm back in the States. So anyway, guys, if you did like the video, hit the subscribe button. I'm a new channel. I'm a growing channel, so I could use all the subs that I could get. Hit the like button. Leave a comment in the comments section below if you need to get in touch with me. Here's all the details. And in the meantime, peace out. Be well.
These nuts. Got him! Got him!